This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbor, and he is not. Leave thy fatherless children, I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. For thus saith Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. Art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, saith Yahweh, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste. And I'm gonna jump down here to 15. It says, for lo, I will make thee small among the heathen, and despised among men. Thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. And also Edom shall be a desolation, and every one that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, all praise, honor, and the glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessing be multiplied on all you brethren that's teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the elect, 144,000, and the rest of the elect out there, shalom. I'm the brother Daman Gabar, here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Yahweh Shai. All right, I know that was a long intro, but hey, these are the times that we're living in as far as concerning Esau, Edom, which is the so-called white man, okay? And we're living at the time to where, the Lord is making Esau bare. He's being completely exposed. He's being completely despised. And the Lord is really, uncovering the veil and, really exposing this man for being the devil, the wicked, a liar, the greatest corrupter, the most disingenuous, evil bastard the earth has ever seen. And ultimately, we're just living in a time to where, this man is being despised, man. His image, his government, his so-called democracy. Everybody is realizing that his financial institutions are fake, that he's rewritten history, that he's everything that he presents is false, everything that he claims to be is literally a lie, is the complete opposite. And everybody is seeing that he's the biggest problem and a threat on the face of the earth. And it's just beautiful to see the unraveling of this damn devil Esau Edom, the so-called white man, his power structure, his government, his financial institutions, his dollar, his banking schemes. His military is nothing more but a military industrial complex, which is being used not to defend the world or to defend democracy or to, protect freedoms, but ultimately to wage war on these nations and crush them under his boot so that he could have total and complete control over them, their resources, that his government, that his all these wars are bankers wars, and that, all of his presidents are nothing but puppets, and everything about this man and his system and his legacy is all a bunch of BS, man. And we're living at the times to where the Lord, it has it fully uncovered, man. And Esau, he can't hide himself. And that's why all he really has left is to come down with the sword in these last days. But the more that he does that, the more he's just going to fully expose himself for being everything that everybody said that he is, especially the prophets and the true men of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We've been the ones out there on the forefront exposing the so-called white man, even those tiny tops, as being the Edomites, as being the Amalekites, the wicked that the Bible speaks of. And the Lord is making it more and more evident each and every day. And this is why, hey, this man, only thing he has left is ultimately is to be judged and destroyed when Yahweh Shai makes his second return, man. And this man's going to continue to be despised. He's going to continue to be hated. Even all of his own allies are turning upon this devil, man. You see, everybody is separating themselves from America, from the West, from those tiny tops, and from Esau Edom, the wicked, man. You see, And it's only a matter of time before all these nations meet up in this third world's war to where they're going to be judged by our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, man. And you got Esau, Edom leading the charge to bring these nations to that valley. And it's just a beautiful time, man. And I wanted to do this lesson on this article I found from the People's Voice. It says, Iran writes open letter to American people. Israel wants to fight to the last U.S. soldier, the last U.S. taxpayer dollar. You see, and this letter really just opens up and just shows you, the true corruptness and how corrupt and how everything that you're being told by Trump and by his administration and the main cause of this war is nothing but a damn lie, man. It's not because Trump is trying to put America first. He's not over there fighting this war to preserve America. It's to do the bidding of those tiny tops, which basically own America lock, stock, and barrel. You see, that war that they're fighting over there with Iran has nothing to do with putting America first, or is it on behalf of the interests of America? It's on the interest of a foreign government. You see, and these devils are getting ready to bring all of these American soldiers over there to invade Iran, ultimately to be destroyed and slaughtered, not for American interests, not for America first, but to do it on the bidding of those tiny tops, in which those tiny tops said, that they're not going to send their troops on the ground to go fight the Iranians, but shouldn't they be the first ones to mount up and put their troops on the front line to fight this war against Iran, since that's their greatest enemy? Why are they using you American soldiers as cannon fodder to go and fight on the front lines against these Iranians for the interests of those tiny tops, man? See, this is something that you should ask yourself. And this is something that the American people and public is slowly waking up to, but obviously not fast enough. You see, but at the end of the day, it's all going to fulfill prophecy, but it's just further showing you how this man is being exposed. The truth is out there. And, what this man is doing is all linked to biblical prophecy. Okay. And I want to read some of this, because basically these Iranians are telling you American people what it truly is, man. And you're not going to hear this on the mainstream news media. Everything that you heard Trump when he did that message last night at 9:00 p.m. was all bullshit. He got on national television and was lying to you American people, presenting Iran as being the aggressor, painting them to be this boogeyman, and that they want nuclear weapons and they're bloodthirsty and they're the most evilest regime on the face of the earth. And one thing you have to understand is that everything that you see on mainstream news media is inverted. It's the exact opposite, man. Everything that they're claiming the Iranians to be is what America has always been. Now, of course, we're not, I'm not on Iran's side. I'm not on Esau's side, but it's just the fact of the matter is that eventually all these nations are going to go down. But the point being is that the West and Esau is the main aggressor. He is the reason why all these things are happening. And he is, waging an illegal war on these Iranians on behalf of the tiny tops. Salakia, fuck. All right, Salakia. All right. And ultimately, this man is just being exposed at the end of the day, man. And, the Lord has it to where, hey, this man, he's about to receive his judgment. He's about to receive the ultimate comeuppance that's been long overdue. But anyway, you got these Iranians are writing a letter to the American people, really telling you what it truly is. And this is something that, we've been explaining and exposing for the longest. But, it's just, it's to the point now to where, this man is just being exposed and he no longer can hide himself, and nobody's believing his propaganda, his bullshit, his lies. Everything that he has to say is just, it's just a lie, man. This man is he's the liar and the father of it, man. This is why nothing that he says should be trusted, and everything that comes out of his lips is not being believed anymore. You see, and this is all because, we're living in the time of the fall of this empire, the fall of the fall of Babylon, which is America, man. Right. And this devil, he just can't hide himself. The Lord is making this man completely bare. But I'm going to read some of this letter that the Iranian president has released to the American people, because a lot of it is true, and everything that he's saying as concerning America and those tiny tops is absolutely true, man. And nothing that they say should be believed. And a lot of you American soldiers that are going on the front lines to go die, you better get out of there while you can. because these devils are leading you to your own slaughter, man, to your own death. All for a foreign government. But anyways, it says Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has released an open letter to the American people asking whether Washington is truly putting America first or merely acting as a proxy for Israel as they seek to fight to the last American soldier and last American taxpayer dollar. And this is what these tiny tops are doing. Like I said, you just had Netanyahu said, we're not going to put our IDF soldiers on the ground to fight these Iranians. We're going to use these American soldiers. And remember, these devils believe that, a lot of these Christian nationalists believe that, in order for them to be blessed, they have to bless Israel. And that these American soldiers should be happy and proud to go and die and fight for the honor of those tiny tops, man, which a lot of you are. And you're stupid as hell for doing it. But hey, it is what it is. It says, to the people of the United States of America and to all those who, amid a flood of distortions and manufactured narratives, continue to seek the truth and aspire to a better life, because that's all that the West is pushing. Everything that Trump said last night in that issue was a goddamn lie. It was a distortion and manufactured narrative. To paint these Iranians as their enemies and as the worst thing to ever have existed, and that America is still Captain America. He's still playing the hero. He's still fighting this war to protect your freedoms and your luxuries, because these Iranians hate you Americans so much, and they hate the fact that you have such freedoms of speech and freedom of this and freedom of that. But it's your own government that's going on a campaign to take away your First Amendment rights, man. That's destroying your democracy, so-called democracy. That's taking away your constitutional rights. It's your own government and president that's doing it, but they are able to present the narrative that it's these Iranians that really hate it and that really want to destroy it and that really want to take away your rights. And that's why we have to go and fight them and destroy them. Well, really, you need to be fighting your own power structure that's within. You see, but hey, that's the power of this devil's deception and a witchcraft that he has to use over the mind of the people, which is really losing steam. But anyways, it says Iran, by this very name, character, and identity, is one of the oldest continuous civilizations in human history. Despite its historical and geographical advantages at various times, Iran has never in its modern history chosen a path of aggression, expansion, colonialism, or domination, which that is true. That's been the MO of America. That's been this American empire, which I'm gonna read in a minute. This is what America has been doing since after World War II, when it became the main dominant power on this earth. Is it expanded itself, man. It's became it's became an expansionist, colonialistic, dominant force over the whole planet Earth. You see, and now is getting ready to lose that dominance and that aggression, man. You see? It says, even after enduring occupation, invasion, and sustained pressure from global powers, and despite possessing military superiority over many of its neighbors, Iran has never initiated a war, yet it has resolutely and bravely repelled those who have attacked it. You see? The Iranian people have harbored no enmity toward other nations, including the people of America, Europe, or neighboring countries. Even in the face of repeated foreign interventions and pressures throughout their proud history, Iranians have consistently drawn a clear distinction between governments and the peoples they govern. This is deeply rooted principle in Iranian culture and collective consciousness, not a temporary political stance. Because why? All these nations really do want to be left alone, but who do you have putting their nose in everybody's business? Who do you have in everybody's backyard? Who do you have trying to dominate and rule over all of these nations with their petrodollar, with their military dominance, with their so-called democracy? Is America, man, the so-called white man. Let's just keep it funky, man. Let's just be true about it. Is this man who's been on the the king, the conqueror spirit, man, who's been involving themselves in all these different nations business, man, who wants dominance, who wants to control everything. Matter of fact, let's get that, man. All right. And this is what this man has been doing. You see? It's not a mystery. It's not something that nobody knows about. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. It says, behold, his soul, whose soul? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man's soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. but the just shall live by his faith. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. You see? And who's in everybody's backyard? Who's the ones asserting their dominance all over the planet Earth, man? It's America, the West, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, man. You know, what do you, whether it's, America, of course, but you also got NATO and the EU, well, mainly the EU and America, and they got NATO involved in there, but it's mainly, the so-called white man. All right. It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell. Why do you think he's trying to go over there and take over Iran? Why do you think they're trying to do this whole Greater Israel project, man? It's this man enlarging his desire as hell. Because what? He wants to dominate and control the whole planet Earth and all the nations over the earth, man. And this is what his whole expansion and colonialism has been about from day one. You see? It says, and cannot be satisfied. You see? He can't be satisfied. Here it is. This man done had, Pax Americana, after World War II, America, had it made, man. They was balling out of control. They was the richest country the earth has ever seen. They had manufacturing. They had military dominance. They could have just been chilling, man. They could have turned this earth into a paradise. They could have made things great. But what did they do? They didn't do that, man. They went on conquering, dominating, dropping bombs on people, putting military installations in everybody's backyard, using the petrodollar to dominate over countries, steal resources, destabilize countries, bring in economic hitmen, look at what he's doing in Venezuela. Look what he's trying to do in Cuba. Look what he's trying to do to Greenland. Constantly trying to expand and to dominate the earth, man. Here it is. He had it made, but it's still never enough. You see, like it says, he cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. You see, and this is what the Iranian president was just explaining. It's not us, Iran. We're not trying to do that. We're just trying to sit in our little corner, make our money, do what we do. But you got the damn devil coming in there trying to take what they have. What Trump said, we're going to take the oil. We're going to take the oil. We want the resources. What do you think those tiny tops are over there bombing in Lebanon? What do you think they're over there doing to those Palestinians, man? What do you think this whole Greater Israel project is all about? Them expanding and dominating over that whole region, man. Crushing anybody that gets in their way so that they could fulfill their desires, man. And this is Esau Edom at his finest. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him? This is what this Iranian letter is all about. You see, it says, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Now I bought you that debt. You see, and this is what, America has brought upon itself with the petrodollar. A huge amount of debt that can never be paid back, man. This is why he was able to print all these damn dollars, able to use this petrodollar to just, go completely apeshit. But now, hey, that is getting ready to come to an end. And now, that thick clay is catching up, and a lot of these nations are not paying off your debt anymore. So now, you're forced to go to war and try to bring in this new economic system. It says, shall not they rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? You see that happening now with that whole Iran situation. They biting Babylon, America, and those tiny tops in the ass, man. And now you have a lot of the American allies are going to turn around and help bite you in the ass. Now, I was reading an article earlier, which it could be just, propaganda, but now they're saying that Russia is saying that if America bring those troops on the ground, they're going to bring these Chechen soldiers over there to fight on the ground. But, we'll see whether that's just propaganda or whether they're just saying that to be saying it. But, hey, the talk of war is in the air. You see, and now, like I said, you got a lot of these American allies are turning on America. Oh, even now, Australia said they're not going to let America bring their fighter jets and planes to refuel or to use their airspaces to launch war against Iran, joining joining Spain, Europe, Great Britain, and other so-called allied countries. And you just had Trump cussing out all of these European allies of America as well. So everybody is getting in that spirit that's going to turn around and bite thee and vex thee, man. You're becoming greatly despised, man. It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. Because of men's blood and for violence of the land and of the city and all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house. And that's what Esau is guilty of. He's very covetous. He wants everything that everybody else has. Like I said, what do you think that whole Greater Israel project is all about? Why the hell you think they're over there attacking Iran? They want that oil. They want that region. They want control over the resources and that territory. You see, it says that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many peoples, and have sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establish a city by iniquity. You see? And Esau's been doing that, and he's still trying to do it, and it's going to eventually lead to his downfall and his judgment, man. So back here, right? It says, for this reason, portraying Iran as a threat is near consistent with historical reality, nor with present day observable facts. Such a perception is the product of political and economic whims of the powerful. Yeah, that's what Esau does, man. He's able to categorize people. He's able to paint Iran as this evil, vile. He says that every time he talks about Iran. These are the most evil, disturbing, wicked people on the earth. Their vile love for destruction and trying to get a nuclear weapon. All these lies and bullshit. But it's through the media that they're able to portray their enemies as such, They could distort reality. They can hide truths and paint narratives. You see, and like I said, these American people are so fucking stupid. They believe everything that they're told on the mainstream news media. But, they're slowly snapping out of that. But, hey, this is the ability that the powerful have over the weak to justify themselves in doing complete and utter fucking wickedness, man. It says such perception is the product of political and economic whims of the powerful. The need to manufacture an enemy in order to justify pressure, maintain military dominance, sustain the arms industry, and control strategic markets. And they did the same thing with Saddam Hussein. Did the same thing to Gaddafi. If you didn't know the inner workings of those countries, what they were trying to do for their own people, how the real reason why they killed Gaddafi was because he was trying to nationalize their currency and make a gold-backed dinar. If you didn't know these things, you would think, you'll believe the narrative that was painted by the American media, that he was a tyrant, he was a dictator, he was evil, he destroyed his people, not knowing that the Libyan people were living very well under Gaddafi, man. Free healthcare, free universities, free electricity. If you got married and had children, the government would give you money to start your family. All the good things that they were trying to do for their people. But they'll only, portray the so-called negative or made up shit about the man so that, they can be justified in waging war. And it's been going on and on for the longest, man. You see, so this man is evil, man. You see, and this is how he's able to use lies and the media to justify his wickedness and destroying countries, killing innocent civilians, man, bomb hospitals, bomb schools, do all type of breaking all type of international laws, man. It's absolutely ridiculous how wicked and evil this man is. You see, it says, in such an environment, if a threat does not exist, it is invented. You see, he's gonna do the same thing against his own American citizens pretty soon. Pretty soon they're going to bring in martial law and they're going to start, painting these pictures of these American people, the own American citizens, as being enemies, as being the enemies from within and targets that need to be dealt with and exterminated pretty soon. You see? It says, within the same framework, the United States has concentrated the larger number of its forces, bases, and military capabilities around Iran, a country that, at least since the founding of the United States, has never initiated a war. Recent American aggression launched from these very bases have demonstrated how threatening such a military presence truly is. Right. That's why I read Habakkuk. He never keep it at home. He's all around these different countries and around these different nations with military bases, man, so that he can do what? Dominate them. You see, if they don't do what America wants them to do, hey, they can use sanctions. They can use, the pressure from the petrodollar to destroy their manufacturing, to put sanctions on them. And Iran been facing sanctions from America for the longest because why? They don't want to bow down to the American power structure, man. You see, and he's been doing this all around the world against all these countries, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in Asia, whether it's in Canada, whether it's in South America, all over the world, man. You see, it says, naturally, no country confronted with such conditions would forego strengthening its defensive capabilities. What Iran has done and continues to do is a measured response grounded in legitimate self-defense and by no means an initiation of war or aggression. You see, but that's what America does. They'll paint Iran as being the aggressors. Oh, they want a nuclear bomb. Oh, they want to attack Israel, but really they've been attacked. And all they're really doing is defending themselves, but they're painted as being the aggressors when really the West is the aggressors. And then once these nations respond back to defend themselves, then, oh, we're under attack. Oh, they attacked the small hats. Oh, October 7th. Oh, this, oh, that. Just the same old playbook of the villain victims, man. Really, they're really the villains, but they are able to play the victim to be able to be justified in dropping 2,000-pound bombs on their enemies. Like I said, destroying schools with innocent little schoolgirls in there, man. Blowing up hospitals. What they're going to tell you in this article? Where is it? Then he goes into relations between Iran and the United States were not originally hostile, and early interactions between the Iranian and American people were not marred with hostility or tension. The turning point, however, was in 53 coup d'etat of an illegal American intervention aimed at preventing the nationalization of Iran's own resources. You see, that's when the problem started, is when Iran wanted to, nationalize their own resources, started to, fully profitize off of their own resources, oils, gas, whatever it may be. That's when America has the problem, because America's whole MO is, no, we're going to control that shit. You're not going to nationalize it. Look, you're going to be able to sell it in the way that we want you to sell it. You're going to, you're going to use the American dollar. You're going to allow us to get ours off of your resources before you can fully benefit off of your resources, you see? And this is what this man does. This is why it says he can never be satisfied, man. Hey, don't let you find gold or natural resources or oil in your country. This man will come there and take it. He'll steal it. He'll try to figure out a way for him to profit off of it more than you're going to profit off of it. And when you tell him, no, we ain't feeling that, that's when he'll send in the economic hitman. That's when he'll try to destabilize your country. That's when he'll send in, he'll try to assassinate your president and put in a puppet president. Same MO this man has been doing since day one, because he's the devil. He's the wicked, man. You see, and it wasn't until that they tried to nationalize their own resources. That's when the problem started. That's when they tried to do a regime change. That's when they tried to destabilize, sabotage them, man. And that's been the MO of the so-called white man in America from the rip. It says the coup disrupted Iran's democratic processes, reinstated dictatorship, and sowed deep distrust among Iranians toward U.S. policies. This distrust deepened further with America's support for the Shah's regime, its backing of Saddam Hussein during the imposed war of the 80s, the imposition of the longest and most comprehensive sanctions in modern history, and ultimately unprovoked military aggression twice in the midst of negotiations against Iran. So they laying it out for you why these problems are happening, man. It's because of the greed and the wickedness of the West, of the damn devil, Esau, Edom, man. You see? It says, yet all these pressures have failed to weaken Iran. On the contrary, the country has grown stronger in many areas. Right. It's just doing nothing but bringing bringing the country tighter together against America. And that's why you always hear these countries always saying death to America. And you have to understand, when they're saying death to America, they're not saying death to every American citizen or to the place. They're saying basically death to the American government through its policies and through the institutions in which they're trying to destabilize these countries. But again, America tape that and flip it. Oh, they're burning American flags. Oh, they're saying death to America. They hate us. They hate our democracy. They hate because we have such freedoms. They hate the American people. No, it's because they hate your wicked, nasty, disgusting policies that you're using, to try to destabilize these countries. That's what they mean when they say death to America, man. Because at the end of the day, all these countries just really want to be left alone. They all want to nationalize their resources, do what's best for their countries and just live, man, and be left the hell alone. The majority of these countries don't want to go to war. They don't want to have nuclear bombs, but they understand they have to have these things to defend themselves from Western imperialism, man. From the bloodthirstiness of Esau, Edom. You see? What else is in here? What else is this? Is a good article, It says, this raises a fundamental question. Exactly which of the American people's interests are truly being served by this war? Was there any objective threat from Iran to justify such behavior? Does the massacre of innocent children, the destruction of cancer treatment, pharmaceutical facilities, or boasting about bombing a country back to the Stone Ages serve any purpose other than further damaging the United States global standing? Yeah, this is why, these nations are taking up a taunting proverb. This is why everybody is cussing America out. This is why everybody is tired of Western imperialism, man. Because people are realizing that, it's just, it's just a damaging, devastating thing. Nobody wants no part of it. These countries really just want to have peace and be left alone, man. You see, it says Iran pursued negotiations, reached an agreement, and fulfilled all its commitments. The decision to withdraw from that agreement escalated toward confrontation and launched two acts of aggression in the midst of negotiations were destructive choices made by the U.S. government, choices that served the delusions of a foreign aggression. You see? And that's what they did, remember, they was having negotiations. They was willing to meet with America. They said they was going to, they would stop you enriching uranium to get a bomb. And they applied with every agreement and talks that America had. But what did America do? They did what they always do, which showed you that it was never about negotiations, that the West just wanted war because the tiny tops told them they wanted war. Yep, this is Yep, this is Psalms 55:20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. You see? He hath broken his covenant. Remember, in the midst of them having the negotiations, America bombed those negotiators at that hotel. All on the all because they was told to do it by you know who. So it was never about negotiations. It was never about diplomacy or them coming to an agreement. The West wanted war and they want to take Iran. It was never about any of those demands that they were talking about. Now you got Trump talking about, oh, we got a 15-point plan with Iran that we want them to negotiate, but it was never about that. And this is why Iran is not giving a ceasefire. This is why they don't want to negotiate. They don't want to talk. They don't trust you anymore. The two times they tried to agree and to have talks, you bombed them. You bombed the hell out of them. So they like, look, this ain't about negotiations. This ain't about nothing. They just want, well, it's going to say it here. It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, man. You see? So these devils don't want negotiations. They don't want peace. They just want war. They want to take Iran. They want the control over the whole situation. They want control over that oil. They want to put a national bank there. It says what else is in here? Yep, it says attacking Iran's vital infrastructure, including energy and industrial facilities, directly targets the Iranian people. Beyond constituting a war crime, but such actions carry consequences that extend far beyond Iran's borders. They generate instability, increase human and economic costs, and perpetuate cycles of tension, planting seeds of resentment that will endure for years. This is not a demonstration of strength. It is a sign of strategic bewilderment and an inability to achieve a sustainable solution. Yep, it is not also the case that Americans has entered this aggression as a proxy for Israel, influenced and manipulated by that regime. Is it not true that Israel, by manufacturing an Iranian threat, seek to divert global attention away from its crimes towards the Palestinians? Which that is true. And this is also causing a distraction from the whole Epstein shit, man. You see? It says, it is not evident that Israel now aims to fight Iran to the last American soldier and the last American taxpayer dollar, shifting the burden of its delusions onto Iran, the region, and the United States itself in pursuit of illegitimate interests. Is America first truly among the priorities of the U.S. government today? And the answer is hell fucking no. Remember, they're doing the interests of those tiny tops, man. Remember, Trump is the first Jewish president by some estimations, It says, I invite you to look beyond the machinery of misinformation, an integral part of this aggression, and instead speak with those who have visited Iran, observe the many accomplishments Iranian immigrants educated in Iran who now teach and conduct research at the world's most prestigious universities or contribute to the most advanced technology firms in the West. Do these realities align with the distortions you are being told about Iran and its people? No, because you're never going to hear that. All you're going to hear is that Iran is this bloodthirsty, evil regime that wants to destroy Israel, get a nuclear weapon, and dominate and control and do all this, all the lies and bullshit, that they use their media to, paint the picture of Iran to be. You see? And it's not gonna stop. So let's look at this right here. It says the breaking Iran's President Pezeshkian has officially released an open letter to the American people. The letter states, 1, Iran harbors no enmity towards other nations, including the people of America, Europe, or neighboring countries. Recent U.S. actions are aggression, targeting civilians and infrastructure, setting up for long-term global instability. What Iran has done and continues to do is a measured response grounded in legitimate self-defense. 4, the decision to withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal was made by the U.S. government. You see, Iran was willing to negotiate, but like I said, in the middle of those negotiations, they bombed them because that's what they really wanted to do. War is in their heart. It says continuing along the path of confrontation is more costly and futile than ever before. You see? And it just further highlights that, hey, this damn devil is everything that the scriptures in the Bible says that he is, man. All right. And we're into the time to where this man's getting ready to be taken down and humbled. This is Isaiah 2:11. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and Yahweh alone shall be exalted in that day. And this is what the stage is being set ultimately to happen. It says, for the day of Yahweh of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. And we're seeing this with Esau, Edom, slowly but surely. These devils are getting ready to be humbled and brought low. And it's going to ultimately culminate when Yahweh Shai crack those clouds and come back down with the thousands of angels along with him to gather these nations to that valley of Jehoshaphat. There he shall sit to judge these nations. But first, he's going to allow Esau, Edom to be exposed. He's going to allow Esau to be made bare, to be fully exposed, and ultimately isolated and humbled. It says, and upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan, and upon all the high mountains, and mountains represent governments, okay? And what is the highest mountain and government of this earth is America. And it's getting ready to be ultimately greatly humbled, man, and despised. It says, and upon all the hills that are lifted up, and upon every high tower, and upon every fence wall, and upon all the ships of Tarshish, and upon all the pleasant pictures, and the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low, and Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai alone shall be exalted in that day. You see? And we're entering into that time to where this is getting ready to happen, man. You see? And hey, this devil, man, like I said, he's being exposed, man, and he can't hide himself. The jig is up, the bullshit ain't working, and the only thing that's left is for this place to be destroyed, man. So, with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. All praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for putting the spirit in me to do this lesson. Lord willing, you were edified. Until the next one, shalom.